All right, we are live. Welcome, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Donovan Sadiq, the recovering Democrat. Hey, just did the Demetra K show. Go and check out her page, everything over there. A lot of great stuff you guys can look into and get to. Also, please go out and download the African Diaspora News Channel app. That is what I use when I am when I want to know what's going on in the African diaspora, what's going on in Africa, what's going on in Singapore, what's going on around the world, because Black people, we are everywhere. So that's what I use. You can get it on Apple Store and also the Google Play. Download the African Diaspora News Channel, or you can sign up at africandiasporanewschannel.org right here on the internet, so on Google. So just go ahead and Google it, download it, and that's where I get a lot of my information. All right, you guys. Hey, I have been asked by a lot of people, and by the way, thank you guys in regards to my dog. I appreciate all. If you guys saw me breaking up the other day, yes, I did break up. I do love my animal, and I'm not going to apologize for it. You know, so I'm an animal lover. That's what I do. Won't cry for people, though. I won't do that. But hey, what this thing is, I'm not going to be too long on this. A lot of people have been sending me emails, especially a lot of my people that are still Democrats, and they're holding on to the Democratic plantation because they're afraid. These people are afraid. What are they afraid of? They are afraid of the unknown. That is a very, very big thing to be afraid of. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm very sure when slavery was over, those people on the plantation, they were just told to leave. They didn't know what was out there. Even though that, you know, they strive to go, but knowing they're in a foreign land, what's out there? That's what they were worried about, right? So, so basically, what I want to talk about, because people have been asking me, well, why not, you know, vote for the Democratic Party? Joe Biden, hey Thunder, Joe Biden. And if you guys saw the South Carolina primary, which was such a total scam, you know, it is so sad. You see our elders over there talking about, yeah, I voted for Joe Biden, you know, because he does for the people. But then, you know, the reporter didn't follow up and say, well, what has he done for the people? You know, could she articulate that? Most likely, I doubt it. But I'm going to give you guys my reasons to why. You guys got to understand why you do not give a president a second term if they don't do anything for you. Okay, number one, if you did not get anything in this first term, what the hell makes you think you're going to get something in the second term when he has nothing to lose and by law he can't run for re-election? Do you guys realize every group that wanted something from Joe Biden got it within the first 60 days? LGBT got something, the Dreamers got something, the Asians got something. Everything that Biden was supposed to give people, he did it in the first 60 days. You guys have got to understand this. He hasn't done shit since. He doesn't do interviews. He travels around, shakes hands, ghost hands. He does all this stuff, doesn't know where he's going. Everything they wanted him to do, he did it within the first 60 days. What has he been doing ever since? Nothing. Think about it. He has done nothing. And I'm not trying to pump Donald Trump up, but what I'm saying is Donald Trump was doing executive orders and doing this and doing that. And you always saw him, giving people this, giving the pastors this, you always saw him doing something. So, everybody that wanted something, you have to get it in the first term. Because in the second term, you have no leverage. You have no leverage to force anything. Now, as Black people, we need to even give up on that concept, okay? We need to give up on that concept altogether at this point. If Joe Biden or the Democrats want our vote, they need to start doing a direct deposit into our accounts right now. We're not falling for that. Will get me into office. We did that in Atlanta with Warnock and Ossoff, whatever his name is. And what did we get? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. You guys have got to really think about this strategically, how this stuff works. When Obama was in office, He was supposed to codify Roe versus Wade, threw it to the wayside, right? And then when it was time for re-election, what did he say to everybody? Well, I know I should have done a little bit more than what I, wanted to do. And, he's trying to put it off on Congress, whatever. No, we're not hearing excuses. Well, I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that. But if you give me a second term, I'll do better. Then he got a second term. Then what did he do? Nothing. Because he didn't have to. I want y'all to codify my legacy. He demanded that you vote for Hillary Clinton so that his legacy could be cemented. And she lost. Because people saw, here's a man that has black skin, different lineage, but has black skin and didn't do a damn thing to better our lives except lecture us. That's all he did. So you guys have got to understand that. See, a lot of people aren't talking about that, how this game works. They want our votes. You got to show us before you get in there. We don't want to hear no more excuses. No more excuses. If the other party takes over, it don't matter. We're at the bottom anyway. It don't matter. And when you're at the bottom, the only way to go is up. Nothing from nothing is nothing. You didn't get nothing, so we didn't lose nothing. Oh, well. It is what it is. So, hey, Tawana, Joe Biden came into office disrespecting our so-called black leaders. I will not be voting for Joe Biden, disrespectful, but exactly. Isn't it funny that the minute they get elected, everything that they say they were going to do, think, oh, I'll give it to Congress. Oh, I'll do this. No, we told you to do it. You were to do that. We didn't tell you to punt. It's second down. You want to punt. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Joe Biden, just like Barack Obama, had 2 years to codify and do whatever he wanted in Congress. But they're quick to tell you, oh, Citizens United, we got to get money out of politics. But then when they're in power, they don't do it. And they want to blame the Republicans. We know the Republicans, are doing what they're doing. But you're telling us, you elect us, we'll get rid of Citizens United and that'll solve the problem. And then they get there, they don't do anything about it. You elect us, we're going to get you qualified immunity. It's really, really sad. Thunder says they're really panicking over us getting on code and not falling for the okie doke, but they still refuse to do us right. Exactly. But here's the thing, Thunder. Here's the thing. If you talk to a Democratic shill, a black Democratic shill, by the way, you talk to a black Democratic shill, they will tell you that there's nothing black vote. No, the blacks are going to show up. They're going to tell you blacks are going to show up for the Democratic Party at the end of the day to save democracy. That's what they're telling you. Even though the tea leaves is telling them you're losing voters. And this is how I know they're losing voters, because if they weren't losing voters, they wouldn't talk about us. They never talked about us before. They never talked about us before. Why are they talking about us now? If you're not worried about it, why are you talking about it? Why are you talking about it? Jimbo Clyburn, I don't believe the polls. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Well, god dang, didn't you just see the Louisiana governorship? All the black people that sat out that could have gotten the first black governor since the Civil War. And they just let it go. They just said, hell with it. We're not doing it. Did you not see Sheila Jackson Lee get blown out? Literally blown out. A woman who has been in Congress for over 30 years, name recognition, got blown out. Then her despicable ass backbites the younger candidate that was going to run for her seat, because, that's how they do their little, that's how they do each other. There's no honor among thieves. And files to run for her seat again because she didn't win the mayorship. Now, I'm not trying to down Houston. Houston's, I think, the fourth biggest city in the United States. But the Houston area, predominantly a lot of black people there. Okay? Average black people. Let me say that. Average black people. When I say average, like me. Average black people, because again, there's not a lot of rich black people in the United States. There just isn't. Right? I think there's like 300 black millionaires or something like that, and mostly athletes. But anyway, average black people, these average black people, overwhelmingly blew her out. A white man blew her out in an area that is predominantly black. And the Democratic Party think there's nothing to worry about. Jamie Raskin, you know the guy that ran for governor, or no, what did he run for? Senate in Georgia against Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham was crying and begging for money. Crying and begging for money. Please, I need the money. Please, somebody donate. You guys remember that stuff? This guy had almost all this money from all these donors and stuff. He got blown out. He's now the DNC chair. All these losers. And he says, the black people, he has no doubt black people are going to show up election day. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys again, when you give, if you guys know in your heart that these guys didn't do nothing for you, the Biden administration did not do nothing for you this first term, then you should already know you're not going to get nothing in the second term. Open borders. This is the Democratic policy. They are directly attacking black people, speaking out of both sides of their mouths. And I'm going to tell you guys this, especially you people that live in these beautiful, beautiful states. Grass, greenery, animals, vegetation, natural. You can walk, not even, or at least drive 20 minutes and you're in wilderness. These really great areas. Do you want to see what Democratic policy looks like in real time? Come to California. That's what I'm going to tell you to do. Come to California. This is what Democratic policies will do to your state. This is what will do to your neighborhood. Show me a crime-infested Republican neighborhood anywhere in the United States where a Republican is in charge and the area is like Beirut. I have yet to see that. Tawana says they are a corrupt individual. That is why they never want to leave office. Exactly. And they could care less. They basically, Tawana, you know where I'm going with this because we're kind of on the same page here. They don't care. They're running this country into the ground, Republicans and Democrats, because there's no difference. They're running this country into the ground, enriching themselves. And if this place implodes, which it is, basically, they've got money. They got offshore money accounts. They're going to move to Britain. They're going to move to wherever they're going to go and let this place be what it is. Thunder says there will be a lot of unemployed Democrats. Exactly. But you do not give this, especially this administration, a second term. They are delusional right now. The writing is on the wall. You guys that listen to us from the Demetra K show, from my podcast, whatever, look at the numbers. Philip Scott, look at the numbers. If the Democrats lose 20% of the black vote, they can't win. But think about this. We talk about reparations. They can't find the money. Right now in California, there's a bill, I think it's Prop 1. They call it Prop 1. And you'll see commercials on it. If you YouTube it, you could probably see it. Like I said, you want to see Democratic policies in motion, come to California. Prop 1, you'll see Gavin Newsom up there. He's talking about this is a bill for the veterans. Google the bill. There is nothing in there in regards to veterans. Because the way in the commercial he's putting it, you would make it think it's a specific bill for veterans. It is not. It is a bill that will cover everybody. Everybody. $1 billion allocated to everybody. We just had a reparations study. Where's all this money coming from? Wait, reparations study in California and nothing. You just put it on the shelf. Okay, no big deal, right? But you got money to give universal health care to illegal people. That's more people on the universal rolls, free health care, and you've got $1 billion to deal with the homeless issue that you say is for the veterans, but it's actually for everybody. But you got no money for reparations. Black people, this is how we need to move right now. If they want our vote, direct deposit some dough, down payment, into our accounts. We are not going to put you in office, and we shouldn't put you in office until you show and prove. Until you show and prove. You got money for all these migrants. They don't like the food that they're being served. Did you guys hear about that in New York? All the food that was wasted because they don't eat that. It ain't got the frijoles and the beans and the rice and the things that we like. I'm not eating this. So the Democratic policy is to give them $1,000 debit cards so they can get and eat what they want. What is going on? Are we in a Pizarro world here, people? Is it just me? You got American citizens that don't get treated like this. It's madness. You guys, and I'm just going to say this. If you are a hardcore Democrat and you understand what's going on, but you can't vote for the Joe Biden administration, I'm not telling you to vote Republican. I'm telling you to sit it out. Unless, of course, you're doing a punitive vote like I'm doing against the Democrats, because the Republicans ain't going to give us nothing to, let's just be real. The Republicans aren't going to give us nothing anyway, but we don't give them our vote. Politics is about power. Let's not give the Democratic Party power. If they're sitting out there, it's kind of like this. If you're playing a sport, let's say you're playing basketball, you're playing football, right? And you know you're good. What is the one way that your coach punishes you? He makes you sit the bench. Even though you're there, you can help the team. Oh, God, I need to get in the game. We can win. If I get in, we can win. But the coach DNPs you. Did not play. Coach's decision. Did not play. That's what we need to do. And maybe they will respect us more. Nobody will ever respect you if you don't do what you say and say what you're going to do. I know I'm an alpha male and people call me toxic masculinity and all that other stuff, right? But why do they say that? Because I'm consistent. I mean what I say. And as Black people, we need to mean what we say. Thunder says they estimated that 14% to 30% of the Black vote will go to the Republican candidate this election. The last time the Black vote went to a Republican candidate was in the 60s before LBJ. Exactly. I mean, they're done. They're done. At this point, they are not going to win. But I would tell people, if you can't vote for any of these candidates, sit it out. But if you're going on that, well, I'm going to vote for the lesser of the two evils. 50 years of Biden being in government, look up his history. Who's done more damage to the Black community, Biden or Trump? Trump has only been a politician for, 8 years? Maybe 12, if you want to go with the Obama thing when he was trying to do all that. You guys do realize Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat, right? You guys do know that. So by me telling you that, it's basically telling you there's no difference between a Republican or a Democrat. If they could jump from party to party like that, there's no difference. You guys remember Arlen Specter? He was a long time Republican. Years as a Republican. Then he lost power or whatever. Then he switched to the Democratic Party. If you can switch so easily like that, the ideology means nothing. It's about power. They don't care what the ideology. Well, I'm against abortion. For years, Arlen Specter. I'm women's rights, against abortion. Well, no, we got to take that out, whatever. Then he becomes a Democrat, and it's like, yeah, well, women's rights, okay, whatever, He just wanted the power. Thunder says that speaks volumes, and he says, I'm with you on this, Don. Let them sit it out for a couple of elections. Yeah, and that's the only way we're going to get. Nothing from nothing gets nothing. Stop being afraid. You're afraid of what? We're the only group on this planet that fights white supremacy every day, and you're talking to me, you're afraid. You're afraid of what? What is there to be afraid of? They're killing our children in the street. We're filling up the prisons. They're basically starving us and making us homeless. The basic genocide on black people. And you're talking about you're afraid to cast a vote against a party that you were born to support. What's the definition of insanity? Exactly. Just sit it out. Unless you're going to do a punitive vote like I'm going to do, it doesn't matter. Well, if we vote for the Republicans, then, they're definitely not going to do nothing for us. Well, so what have you been getting from the Democrats? Exactly. You guys, when it comes to the presidential election, if you do not get nothing in that first term, you are not going to get something in a re-election second term. Use your common sense. Thunder says, what's the worst that can happen? They're going to take all that nothing that they keep giving us. Right. Exactly. And a lot of people, get it, especially the younger people. But I was so hurt looking at those people in South Carolina, all those black women, older black women, voting, and they're voting very ignorantly. Well, the Democrats do for the people. Well, if the Democrats do for the people, why do you live in one of the poorest districts in the United States? And your representative is a black man who claims to be the third strongest Democrat in the House. Explain that. I'm Donovan Sadiq, the recovering Democrat. We're going to see you guys on the next show.